actually by SK while it's been Svenskeren that's been using it.
Yeah, he's been using it, but he's not been doing too well on it, and he's not been able to have the early pressure he likes to, so that's why they banned away. Same goes for LeBlanc here. Jesse's played it a few times, not been working for him. Played against Alex yesterday, didn't work at all. So instead of giving it over to Alex, they just banned away. So it's actually fun to see two of the picks SK Gaming had in the last game. They're banning them now.
Well, Lee Sin's been taken out as well. Copenhagen Wolves actually first picked Elise. First time we've seen it for a while. And we also saw Fnatic going big earlier on today as well.
And we heard Janko saying in the interview that he still thinks Elise is very, very strong. Your damage is still very good. Yes, you lack some wave clear late game. Your dragon control and baron control is slightly, or is nerfed, but still you have a lot of damage single target. And wow, SK actually banning with Zed here, so not taking any chances because we've already seen Zed twice today. Don't want to risk Alex playing it.
Taking that away from Alex Ich. Also, Lulu is going to get banned out by Gambit. Almost snuck through there. Jesses would have certainly taken that one, but it's going to be the Lucian pick first in there for Candy Panda this time around. No Vayne.
So they want to force Genji now onto a different AD carry, of course, and normally from Genji when Lucian is gone, we go to the likes of Varus, Jinx, of course. They're non-mobile AD carries, so it could be a tactic for SK Gaming here, saying we want to have you on something without a dash, so we can catch you out with whatever Leona support or whatever combo we want to play, and just try and punish you every single fight, and also punish you in the laning phase.
The Evelyn may be chosen for Diamond as the champion, and he kind of started back up here in the European LCS, but it will be Eddie on Thresh, it seems. They have just been rotated around at the moment, not locked in just yet.
And for a long time it's been a rule, don't give Diamond Evelyn. Because every single time he plays Evelyn, he's so strong in the early game, applying so much pressure. And he was of course the one showing the new build of Evelyn, going mixed of magic damage and attack damage and tankiness. So him locking in Evelyn here, very good start champ select wise for Gambit, getting some early pressure now.
Well, they are locked in, so we'll see whether the Thresh Prince can pull out his hooks like he was last week. At the moment, oh, quick locks for SK Gaming this time around. Renekton and Nidalee fast picked.
So again, with LeBlanc being banned away, Jesses, he want to fall back on the long range poke champions. For him, Nidalee has been a very strong pick, and generally when he's been playing it, as long as he gets the farm he wants in laning phase, he can land the spears before the team fights every single time, and SK have won a lot of games with him actually playing the Nidalee, so I like the pick here. Of course it's picked blind, so Gambit will have the choice now, or the chance to at least counter it. It could potentially be Ryze mid, because Nidalee is not able to punish you, so you're gonna farm as Ryze, and you're gonna be very, very strong in the late game, and we all know what happens. You don't want to deal with the late game Ryze when he's having 5 or 6 items.
Well, Alex insta-locked that Ryze. We saw him last week playing it to great success. This time around, he's got teleport on him as well. We'll see whether that sticks there. It could, of course, change as the summoners are able to choose their spells later on. But at the moment, we're waiting to see what Genji's going to go with. Well, shock. It's going to be Varus falling back on him. You love this item to build that he pulls out in Varus.
We don't talk about it. At least not yet. Let's wait to see when he builds it, and then we can look at the situation. Don't have to talk about it yet. But with the Varus here, they're gonna have at least a decent engage combo with Evelyn, where you combine, of course, the ultimate from Varus, and then Evelyn comes in, or the other way around. Set up some good CC, and then Ryze can come in and follow up with a lot of burst damage.
Edward taunting at the moment. We do see Pantheon though, so Svenskeren is going to return back to that jungler that was so successful for him, and Leona also being picked up by N-Rated.
So I like the fact SK now, actually, we think alike. We want Svenskeren here on Pantheon, so he can get some early aggression going. That's also why they first picked the Lucian, so they forced Genji onto a champion without a dash, so when Grand Skyfall comes down in his face, there's absolutely no way for him, unless he's having flash, to escape out of it. And also with Leona, of course, same scenario, pop the ultimate in his face, force him to either blow the flash or get caught, and then there's a chance SK Gaming can just pile onto him and kill him. So the whole champ select here from SK Gaming, very nicely planned out, saying we want to make sure we get this AD carry, and then of course with also banning away the K6, we can then take Pantheon. So I like this for SK Gaming, strong lanes and also very good ganking setups they have.
Well, ironically, with that Kha'Zix ban and the Lee Sin ban, it kind of forced Svenskeren onto the champion that he should be playing in the first place. I feel that maybe that ban was purposely done by Freddy. He's like, no, what you are going to play is this. I'm going to angle you towards it. We are also going to see the classic battle in that top lane, Renekton versus Shyvana.
And I almost feel like with this lane setups that Svenskeren is going to be too busy. He want to go up top lane, he want to help shutting down Shyvana early on with Renekton, of course, pushing him into the turret. He wants to go down bot lane, kill Genji, together with, of course, N-Rated and Candy Panda, locking him down with all the CZ. And mid lane wise, he want to make sure Alex is not getting free farm. Because against the Nidalee 1v1, Nidalee is not going to do anything to Rise. He's just going to farm away all the time. So the Gambit combo here is going to scale really well into the late game. Where the combo from SK Gaming, of course, you have Pantheon and Renekton, both are going to fall off when you come to the late game team fights. So it's going to be a race for time, at least for SK. They want to make sure early on they win.
Well, this is a battle for the top spot, remember. Fnatic and Alliance are already there with 14 wins, 10 losses, and both of these teams currently sat on 13 wins, 9 losses. Whoever gets this will tie that top spot going into the final week, and that is a super week next week, of course, with 16 games going on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday next week. So it's going to be a big one, which sets this game up to be a mouth-watering finish for the LCS. Of course, don't forget there is Challenger Series to follow, a best of 3 between Ninjas in Pyjamas and Departed. They will be taking place on the stage right behind us just after this game finishes. So lots of action still to go. Potentially 4 more games, and I can tell you everybody that's involved in this is excited about that one. Thank you.
This game at least, I can guarantee we're going to get a lot of action just from the get-go, because again, you have this early game combo. We have Svenskeren on Pantheon where you can set up stuff early on. You have Gambit who wants to try and hold off the early game. Don't want to, of course, risk giving up too many kills, maybe even objectives to SK. And then they just want to go to the late game. They want to get farm on Shyvana, want to get farm on Alex, of course, who actually is bringing the teleport here, so he's going to be able to at least roam around the map a little bit, maybe counter gang if Svenskeren is jumping and diving towards the bottom lane. Then he can teleport to the turret, of course, and join in.
Well, we'll see how this one works out. We just saw... In fact, we've seen quite a few Nidalees today now.
We have.
Think of it. We've seen a fair few in this mid lane working out very well. Gambit are looking to go for a bit of an invade here, of course, with Rise. You could get that Rune Prison down early with the Thresh Hooks. There's a lot of capability to land stuns in there. Diamond going to peek.
Yeah, you can always scout with Evelyn in stealth, of course. So SK, they don't know they're in this bush yet. But if they come too close, we can land the hook, Rune Prison, of course. And then there's a first spot for Gambit. There's a spear, so they're spotted.
Yeah, Alex gets spotted in that bush. He takes the spear. Not too sure whether he'll show himself, just saying it was just me, guys. That's all you caught, which is what he does. But the rest of the team are not going to focus on this one. Darien has yet to go back. We'll see whether he heads top. He looks like he will be going north. So it looks like Gambit with that single spear have had their entire level 1 strategy shut down.
So Gambit also want to make sure actually they have standard lanes, even though they are slightly in favor of SK Gaming, because they have Evelyn. So you want to make sure you can apply the pressure early on. Lane swapping against Evelyn is a very effective tactic to make sure you always know where she is, because you force her to either dive somewhere or go down and defend in one lane and doesn't really have any pressure in the mid lane.
Well, Genji gets himself into position as Warden's still not going to be available till the 2-minute mark. We are on 4.4, of course, and we've seen some interesting picks coming out already today. Of course, if you've not been watching, there's been a bunch of Zerouts being played. Not to great success, though. 0% win rate on that one. Looks like Diamond's going to be starting out on the red buff, and it's a blue start for Svenskeren.
And looking at starting items, we have the Ruby Crystal onto Edward, which actually is one of the most effective starts for supports, because it means on the first back you can get your Sightstone, sell your Trinket Ward and get the Sweeping Lens, and therefore you can deny vision from the enemy, and you also have a lot of easy vision for yourself down in this bottom lane. Against Pantheon, though, they're gonna need some deep wards, and Edward being very aggressive here from the start.
Yeah, putting that flay down on Candy Panda. Meanwhile, though, Genja doesn't return any damage, continues to keep his farm going. Missed the last hit on that final one there, but Candy Panda nevertheless did get a good bit of damage down on towards him. There is the Relic Shield being picked up by N-Rated this time around, and we don't see any GP10 items for Eddie, so don't expect him to be clocking up that gold. Of course, went with that health item, the Ruby Crystal, to try and stack himself in towards the sightseeing early on.
Yeah, so again, not getting the early gold, but when he is having this, when he has the Sightstone, he won't need to invest in wards, where Invaders still have to buy them. So they're gonna go more, should be going even when it comes to gold here. And let's of course see how the laning phase will go, because we know Genji and Varus is actually very strong on him in lane. He's very good at landing his Qs, so we can see if Gambit can apply some pressure here. Evelyn, though, coming in towards this mid lane early. Remember, Rune Prison from Rise is going to be instant CC.
Gonna try and lock him down here. Jezza instead will take a better poke, does take a quick blast from Alexic. Meanwhile, Svenskeren tries to return it down on towards the bottom. Eddie getting caught out, but the Zenith Plane did not land from N-Rated. They get the hook back on Svenskeren. Genja not really got the damage to turn this one back around, though.
So I absolutely love the fact that Svenskeren is doing the jungle route we know he always does on Pantheon. He level 3, he walks bot lane every single time, forcing the flash out of Genja. Again, he couldn't pick up Lucian, so there's no dash onto him. And that's exactly what SK wanted to do. No flash now, so Gambit needs to be very careful every time he moves forward to get a CS, because if Svenskeren is nearby and Raider can engage onto him, lock him down, and that's going to be first blood for SK.
Well, in that mid lane, it was fairly even, still is going that way. In the top lane, Freddy, while he's bullying out Darian, pushing him on towards that tower. But Darian is still keeping up the farm pretty well, despite the fact he's pushed on that tower. We're not seeing a great deal of losses between them. Of course, this is a battle that will continue, as you would expect. Shyvana, of course, always becomes slightly stronger as we hit the 12 mark.
Yeah, so for Shyvana, it's just a fight to get enough CS and also avoid losing your turret too early, because, again, Freddy's going to push this wave into the turret again and again, get some damage onto the turret every single time there's a big enough wave, then he's going to back off and do the same. And that's where we need to see if the junglers want to join in. Pantheon can come up and dive onto Darian. Pantheon is a very good jungler to dive with, because you can block some of the tower hits, of course. And then, of course, with Freddy here being able to tank with his ultimate, so SK have the setup to gank up in this top lane here, and Evelyn should be needing the level 6 before you can really see a good gank onto Freddy, because Evelyn needs to slow. Of course, Shyvana is not bringing any CC.
Well, as it stands, we did see the pressure from Candy Panda and N-Rated down that bottom lane, but they have been alleviated. Genja's keeping that farm going, keeping up very well with Candy Panda, and actually it's a very even lane down that bottom area. Meanwhile, this mid lane, we can see the spears not quite landing from Jezza. I think he expected to take that minion down and land the spear.
Yeah, but Gambit is just happy leaving Alex in this mid lane, just farming away, because the more farm with Ryze, yes, Nidalee is going to be strong in the late game when it comes to poking, but in a straight up fight, if Gambit manages to engage onto SK Gaming, then Ryze is going to do so much more. So they're happy enough having him farm away. He picked up the boots as his first item, so he's obviously going to dodge the spears, and also helps him set up ganks here, because he's going to have more movement speed to get in range, land his rune prison, and then Diamond comes in.
Diamond's taking a peek. Of course, with those boots, he can close that gap, as you mentioned, but Jezza's not falling for this one, staying very much out of range of that rune prison.
Down in the bottom lane, not much is happening here. Both AD carries farming pretty well. We should have more focus actually on the junglers, because that's where we're going to see something. Top lane wise again, Darren is just going to try and stay safe and farm. He actually recalled already. Freddy's staying in the lane. Bottom wise, Genja's going to land poker now. Going on to Edward.
Edward taking a lot of damage from this time around. Has to use that exhaust, but he's not going to get away from this one. He's going to get locked down. Who will get the first blood? It will be Candy Panda, and SK Gaming with a great play on the bottom. Started off by Unrated.
Yeah, no flash onto Edward here. He had to use it on the gank from Svenskeren early on, so very good engage from SK Gaming here. Edward did manage to actually stop N-Rated coming on towards him, so very nice pickup and a little bit too over-aggressive from Edward.
Very aggressive, pushed up deep, and this game make him pay. So, how will that convert this lane? Currently, it's a 10 CS advantage for Candy Panda, as well as that kill. It means they're going to get some damage down on this turret as well before everyone returns. It's not going to be a great deal, but it's going to be enough.
At least get some damage here, get the turret lower and lower. In the end, if they do that dive they love to do with Svenskeren, they can then take the turret afterwards and rotate to Dragon. But first, Darren getting some good damage onto Svenskeren here and forcing him away from the blue buff.
Yeah, which he did start on, remember, which means it's just spawned. Diamond and Darien close by. Alex is also rotating around. Jesus is coming in. That spear will be close to stealing it away, but he may well have to force Svenskeren to smite this one.
But none of the junglers are level 6 here, so Diamond won't have his ultimate to put down. Jez is just trying to poke away with the spears, and now SK seem to be forcing Gambit out.
Yeah, that spear from Jesus may well have forced Diamond to have second thoughts on this one. He will back away. It means they're going to return to that top lane. Jesus will take this one safely. They have that ward coverage. They know that they are safe to just finish this one off. Jesus takes it with the spear.
We do have the sweeping lens now onto Edward, so let's see if Gambit can actually set something up down here in the bottom lane with Alex either teleporting down, or of course Evelyn just walking down, not going to be spotted by all these green wards, so that's why we see a pink ward here. Issue for SK is the fact he's actually spotted out. It's more important than you normally would think, but it simply means for Gambit, they can actually walk in and clear it when they push this wave up.
Well, Alex's first back, of course, does get the tier and the catalyst. Ideal items to start off with on that first back for Alex.
It couldn't be any better.
It's going to be a little while for that tier to stack up. Around about 27 minute mark, I'm going to go with. I'm going to guesstimate.
Just the fact he's getting the tier early. Of course, he could have backed before, just bought the tier and then returned to laning phase, but decided to stay and farm up, so now he's having both catalyst and tier. But he's again, now the time, or the ticking time bomb rises is going to start, because he's going to stack up this tier, of course, and once it's fully stacked, he's going to upgrade into Seraph, and he's just going to be so strong.
Well, we saw it with Mima earlier on, of course. He just managed to just keep getting that free farm going on, but Genja on Varus has got a very good win rate. He does really well on this champion. Paired with Edward on Thresh, it is a good combo for Gambit.
It is, and he's going to be against a combo, however, or a composition that's going to jump on him and have the ability to jump on him every single team fight. But that might actually be in favor of Gambit, because if SK invests so much onto killing the AD carry, Ryze is going to be left untouched, Shyvana is going to be left untouched, and of course Evelynn just to do all the damage in the late game team fights.
Genja does like those caster AD carries, and this one seems to suit him best. He's gone with the pickaxe's first Diamond. Diamond is going to come down. He needs to try and reset the balance down in this bottom lane. Of course, that kill on Edward was the only kill of the game so far. Candy Panda's in danger of getting caught with a hook there. He's just lingering off the side of the minions, and Edward may well feel like pulling the trigger. I think he's going to bait him into this one.
But look at the pings here. Svensson is pinging. He's coming towards this bot lane, so they want to set something up themselves. He's closing in. He should be in range now for his ultimate. And here he goes.
Don't forget there's a teleport for Alex if he wants to get involved. There's going to be Svensson jumping on this one. Chain of Corruption comes out. Svensson taking too much damage, as was Edward. Edward gets taken down. There is Alex joining the party. Candy Panda's going to be the focus. It's a 1-for-1 so far, and Alex with his overload run is going to jump straight on towards Candy Panda. Now N-rated, he's running straight towards the enemy turret. He's in trouble. Piercing arrow comes out. Genja's just going to chase this one down and finish it off with a couple more shots. Hail of Arrows is available if he needs it. He's just waiting to pull the trigger. He's actually been pulled away for a long time here by N-rated. That shield's going to help out as well. No,
wait! Get him.
Genji, you knew that the shield was going to be enough.
No, man, he needs to one-up.
He needs to just walk in and hit it. I think actually Alex may steal this one away. No, finally Genji gets it. It took a while, but nevertheless, it's 3-1 for Gambit.
It did mean actually Jessis could use a lot of time hitting this turret in the mid lane, so getting a lot of damage, almost actually killing it, but Alex going aggressive.
Well, it took so long that Alex got overload back off cooldown to come back and face Jessis in that mid lane. He did lose the turret though, so 3-1 kills, losing a turret is actually an advantage for SK.
Yeah, but getting 2 kills onto Varus, of course, is gonna help a lot here when they start to poke up till the first dragon, when they start these mid-game fights, and of course getting a kill onto Ryze, very, very nice for them. But losing the mid turret can be very, very deadly for him, because it means Alex, he's now forced to just stay here and defend it. Otherwise, Jessis can just constantly push it up and even get damage on the next one or start roaming around.
So ward on Dragon, that may well be the next focus. We are approaching that 12-minute mark, so we may well start thinking about this one. But Gambit have got themselves a couple of kills on the board. They're going to start feeling a little confident. SK, of course, with the gold lead, as you would expect, with that tower down, and spears are starting to flow in towards Alex Hitch. Darian, well, normally we see him farming between the towers, as does Freddy, but neither of them fancy it this time around up against a Evelynn in the jungle or a Pantheon jumping from the sky.
Yeah, but Svensson have been using so much time on the bot lane, so he's never actually been on top here to apply any pressure onto Darren, so he's just farming away, trying to defend his turret. Again, the longer he can hold it, the better it is, of course, for Gambit, because once the turret actually goes down, it opens up for Freddy to start going down to his team, force something with them as 5 members, with the Nidalee, of course, poking away, or it opens up for him to pressure all the way down. But now Grand Skyfall got cancelled.
It was cancelled. Genja had that lantern thrown out. And this is actually a death sentence being thrown on towards N-rated. There's a lot of damage being placed on him. It's a good solar flare though. N-rated replying on this one. He is going to get taken down, or is he? Genja being stopped and stunned by Svensson, and now Candy Panda's just culling away down that bottom lane. Now Svensson's in trouble. Alex Hitch tries to come into this one, but it just goes straight into Diamond. A quick flash from Alex Hitch chases that one down. It was a 2-for-1, this time in favor of SK.
And Jessis could definitely have flashed after Svensson here to help him out. Alex was very low. It would be easy for him to take him down, but instead he actually stayed, waited for his cat form to come back up, and then jumped over the wall. So too late for him. But Dragon, however, is the target for SK, and Freddy also took down the top turret. Yep,
the Dragon also going to go down for SK. So while Gambit chased the kills, SK are taking those objectives, and it's seemingly working to a very good game plan so far. They have themselves a 3,000 gold advantage just 13 minutes into this game.
Yeah, so they're using the early game combo pretty well here, getting, of course, winning the lanes, getting some decent enough ganks in from Svensson. Even though he actually died twice, we still managed to get 3 kills onto Candy Panda here, so that's very important for SK.
Yeah, the top laners, we haven't really had chance to look at those guys. The triple Doran's blade were picked up by Freddy a while ago, but he's now completed that Sunfire cape. Meanwhile, Darian, well, he hasn't quite got the Sunfire cape complete, but he also went for the triple Doran's items. Let's have a look at the mid laners. We can see Rod of Ages now finally completed by Alex Hitch. Jez has had that Athenes and Holy Grail about 2 minutes ago as well. AD carries where you can see Candy Panda slightly ahead, starting to stack out that Bloodthirster already. Genji yet to go back and complete that item, went for the Berserker Greaves as well.
Yeah, and Genji is of course going for the Infinity Urge, as always for Genji here. So with Bloodthirster, early advantage for Candy Panda. He's gonna have more damage in these early fights than Genji will. So advantage SK Gaming. Dragon, of course, went down, so we won't see a team fight at least for Dragon here in the next few minutes. We're gonna wait for it to spawn and then possibly see some continued laning phase. Up in the top lane though, Freddy, we talked about with the third win down, he can either now join in with the team to apply some pressure in the mid lane or in the bot lane, whatever he decides to actually do, or he can just continue pushing all the time up here and forcing someone from Gambit to react, go up and try and stop him. Otherwise, he's just gonna take a turret more.
Well, Freddy is bullying out this lane, as you would expect with Renekton in those first 10 levels. We'll see how the tables turn, whether Darien is even able to. At the moment, nothing really happening between those two top laners. Freddy did get caught slightly in the tower range, which means he's forced to back away. Back down in this bottom lane. We are seeing once again, a Diamond is having to focus down here. But Svenskeren is close enough that Skyfall could be used. If he heads towards the top half of the jungle, he's out of range.
And we also just saw SK actually pinging on to Alex the second his teleport was ready. So they know he is having teleport. Jesus was just saying he's here in the mid lane. Be careful though, he can actually teleport down if something should happen. Could be one of the reasons Svenskeren decided to back off and say, okay, I'm not going to jump in here. Because Genji, yes, he's having the flash ready, but this is the time where SK Gaming can just gank him all the time.
Well, he certainly does have that. At the moment, we do see Genji with that 2-1-2, again, keeping that pressure off the turret, SK Gaming. Alex Hitch using that overload to keep the minions away. Jez is doing a very good job at pushing, punishing in that lane. But, again, Diamond this time has snuck unseen into this, but Svenskeren again is close enough. Still unseen. Diamond got around the backside of them, has got that ultimate available if they gather together, which I feel they will. There's the Chain of Corruption, there's the barrier already used. Teleport coming in. This is going to be Alex Hitch joining the party on towards Svenskeren. That Solar Flare's not going to be enough to save the day, and it will be 2 easy kills for Gambit this time around.
And there's nothing worse when you're ultimating in the Pantheon and the fight is already lost, so you land and you just instant die. So Gambit here setting it up. SK Gaming knew there was a teleport on Alex, and yet they didn't actually have a chance to react here, just teleporting in. It does mean, however, the mid lane turret now for Jez is doing a lot of damage to it.
Genji almost going down to the tower. Calculated, I believe, is the phrase they'd like to use there, but that was half the hit point shredded off that mid turret by Jez. Every time Alex goes looking for those kills and does get them, they are losing a lot of damage on those turrets.
But now the bottom lane turret is gone. It means Genji can then rotate to the mid lane. He can start wave clearing, forcing Jez to never actually get close to the turret here. So it's fine for Gambit, of course, getting 2 kills, getting a turret. More than worth it for them. And now you actually see Edward going towards the mid lane, while Genji might try an AD carry gank up here in the top lane.
He's going to head up there. Spear lands on Alex Hitch. I want to talk about Freddy because he's been pushing in this lane every single time. And he goes back, gets those golems. It's a big gold advantage starting to build up for him. If we were to look at the gold items, we'd see how much it's stacking off. But now, right now, we're going to see in that top lane, Freddy is going to get caught out. Genji's coming in. I don't think he's going to be able to get away from this one. Instead, he wants to try and turn that kill back on Darien. Genji will get himself the kill.
I love Genji. He's one of the only AD carries who's going to walk from base and just decide to gank the top lane. He could have gone mid lane, started wave clearing. Instead, he walks up there, picks up a kill now. So very good move by him, actually. Already on 3-1-4, so he's going to have a lot of gold. And Infinity Edge already completed.
Yeah, that Infinity Edge, big item, big power spike for him. Bottom lane, though, it's going to get ganked up down here. SK Gaming all roaming around from this one. Eddie can't defend it, and because Genji showed himself in that top lane, as he said, gets himself that kill, he may well lose his turret out here. Darien comes down to try and counter this one. They force SK away. Oh, that death sentence so close to catching on Svenskeren.
So all the turrets now in the lanes for Gambit are actually fairly low. It simply means for SK Gaming, if they can continue pushing up here, they will get some damage and will be able to take them down. Or if they win the fight here, after this dragon, when it spawns, it means they can just go to whatever lane they decide to, and that's going to be an easy turret. So a lot of gold for SK potentially very soon.
Well, SK preparing for this dragon fight. You can see that Freddy is sticking around. He's taking the wolves and then going to come in there. Meanwhile, the rest of SK do back away quickly just to return in time for that dragon to spawn. Darien, he's off down this bottom lane. He's pushing the wave in. Of course, that middle, the bottom inner turret is outer turret's the word I'm after. was taken down. It's the inner turret he wants to focus on. He's actually trying to do what Freddy's been doing to him the whole game, but look at this. The jungler sat there. Spencer Karen instead stole the gold away from Darien.
And he didn't actually take too much damage, so it's alright, because again, Dragon in 20 seconds, it's very important Darien is healthy for this one. The rest of Gambit though are very far away. They have some good pink wards in their own jungle, but that's about it for the moment.
Why did Svenskeren not choose to jump across onto him there? There was a 2v1 situation.
Well, if you already used to jump, he would rely on Freddy to get in range. Yeah, okay, they could actually have forced the ultimate from Darien. You have a point.
Yeah, I don't understand why they didn't go for that one. Nevertheless, it would have been a top laner down and almost certainly would have forced the Dragon fight, but instead they didn't really have the vision maybe. They have shoved the mid lane and the bottom lane out, but Gambit are ready and waiting for this Dragon fight. This is going to be the first 5v5, I feel. Who is the stronger?
Well, let's see if SK Gaming, with the engage, they really want to be the ones to start the fight, just right in the face of Genji here, piling onto him with Grand Skyfall and Enrated, just taking him down.
That is the difference.
Yeah, Jess is with these spears. If he's having enough time to poke away, already hitting twice, very, very good for SK.
They're already backing away. They realize they can't fight this one. They've lost half the hit points off Edwards. You can see Diamond took a big chunk there. Candy Pana, meanwhile, is bought time in the mid lane, so they actually realize we've created a great situation that we can fight for Dragon, but we can also push this mid lane turret. They've taken it so low already. Diamond and Darien, they're continuing to keep away on this Dragon. Diamond wants to sneak in and smite this one, I feel.
Gambit could potentially still fight for this one. Genji is in the mid lane with Candy. They're actually forcing SK off the Dragon here. But SK still have the good position because they can always rotate to the mid lane, but Gambit have to run all the way around their own blue buff.
Good delay tactics here from Gambit. I don't think they have any intention of fighting right now. Their spear does not land. And they have bought enough time that Edwards been back, got himself full health, and is returning. And he's going to be able to push back in here. As you say, that top lane is going to push itself in towards that turret, but I think the turret will deal with that. So this is a battle that is going to have to resolve itself. Genja is in perfect position to fight that Chain of Corruption down, but he's off at the side. He's all in zone.
Yeah, but look at Diamond here, actually sneaking in towards the red buff. So he's going to pick up the red buff, or he's actually going to skip it for now. He want to get in behind. They want to flank around SK Gaming here and do the engage themselves.
There is a pink ward, though. If he comes to come around the side there, they're going to spot him out. And they're going to see him if he gets too close to that bush. He's surely going to realize there's a ping ward in here. Yeah, they've just pinged it.
Pinged it, yeah.
They ringed it, realize that is there. Oh, Alex Ich has gone off towards the top lane. Has got teleport, don't forget, so he can join this fight at any time. Realizing they're going to have to clear that wave. Uses the overload, pushes that wave back out. And SK, they're dilly-dallying here. They don't really know what to do.
And they spotted Diamond out. They're spam ping on here. Rest of SK are now running towards him because they know Diamond is going to be behind him. They want to catch him out. It could potentially mean the Dragon for Gambit, actually.
They forced him away, and as you mentioned, Gambit move into position, and Diamond is yet to be caught out. He's going to come around on towards Candy Pana, puts a quick hate spike on towards him, but that's a bit of an error. He's going to go straight towards the rest of SK. The culling lands all across him. A great stuff from Freddy, and that is Diamond going down. No smite available, and now Dragon is going to go to SK.
Edward was actually in a position to throw the lantern over the wall, but decided not to. Meanwhile, though, Dragon here, SK, they are at least in a good position to take it. Only Darien actually there to try and steal it. And meanwhile, though, Rise up in the top lane, just pushing down, but his turret is on full HP.
Yeah, he has to try and put something on towards that turret, and that's what he's doing. He's got a long time to get it, but the minion wave is a long way away as well. So I don't think he's going to be able to close this turret out. You can see Jez is already making fast tracks up towards his top lane too. He's going to clear out that minion wave. There is the spear, and Alex will back away from this one. So another objective gain for SK Gaming.
Yeah, but as long as Gambit can stay fairly close in goal with their combo, with of course Raj and Shyvana, they should be fine going into the late game team fights. So even giving up the Dragon, yes, it's not ideal, but for them in their case, it's more important they don't fall further behind than they already are.
Jez's claws away, Freddy returns to top lane, and again they all resume position. Blue buff is up. I'm wondering whether Diamond's going to go across. Realizes there's a pink ward because he got spotted by that vision, and blue buff is going across to Jesus. I don't think Diamond's going to get there close enough for Jesus, which is to claw his way to steal that one off him.
And let's see now here with Alex how many stacks he's already having on the tier. It's not fully stacked yet. He's on 540 so far, so it's coming there in a few minutes. As you actually predicted yourself, around the 27-minute mark, it should be fully stacked, and that's where we really see the power of Rise coming in. Gonna have a lot of damage, and of course gonna upgrade into Seraph, so he's gonna have this good shield as well to stay alive.
4 members of SK Gaming in the mid lane. Diamond kind of running interference, wondering whether he's going to try and sneak around the backside of Freddy, but I feel they're going to have to react to this one. Remember, that inner turret in the mid lane is already pretty low, so it's possible that they could just try and tank this one down, which is why Diamond's going to have to react to it. They're already pulling Darien down as well, so they want to try and outnumber him in the mid.
And look at this. Alex was actually staying in the base, just waiting, because he's having home guard, so he can teleport in, and then he can just instantly rush into the fight. That's why he was staying and waiting for something to happen. And Diamond now flanking around once again.
Flanking position, going to try and come around. There's the Cullen being used, but simply massaging them. They are going to get drawn in. They will take this turret down, but they're now closed in. Diamond gets his ultimate down, catches 4 members, but is it going to be enough? Look at the damage coming out there. Chain of Corruption comes through. Jess's spear manages to thread the needle, catch straight on towards him. Freddy now on them. Stun comes in there. Edward forced away. Does manage to land the death sentence. That's going to be the drop coming in. Is it going to be enough? Who are they going to focus on? Edward's taking low. He has to back away. Damn. It is going to be Genja caught out. Oh, the lantern pulled in. Alex Itch escapes the victory, but well, you can see the inhibitor turret is taking damage. Candy Panda's rotating around. He's found Edward. That was a mistake by Eddie, and they're also going to lose the inhibitor turret for the price.
So while they engage from Evelyn, he actually hit 4 members. Alex was not in a position to join in instantly. The rest of Gambit were not in a position to jump in with Evelyn here, and it simply meant that SK could turn around, get a lot of damage onto Diamond, and then just pile on to the teamfight we saw. Very nice ultimate from Enrated, and then SK just followed up with it and showed their combo in this mid-game fight is stronger than Gambit's.
So they do take away that blue buff. Actually, it's a light. I think Alex managed to steal it towards the end there. It is going to be Gambit trailing behind 6,000 gold. We've seen them Super Hot Crew doing the same thing, but let's check out this fight.
You notice here, up in the top lane, both top laners are gone. Engage from Diamond, but there's no follow-up from the rest of Gambit because Alex, he was running there. Here's the ultimate from Genja, hitting absolutely nothing. And from there on, Evelyn is dead. It's too easy now for SK Gaming. Freddy comes in, and of course the ultimate from Enrated was already used, so he's not going to be able to pile onto here, but we have the Grand Skyfall, and just locking up members, landing down from Svenskon. Yes, Enrated will die for it, but getting a kill onto Genja, of course it's worth it, because later on, they can just take the inhibitor turret.
Itch having to take that lantern.
Actually, flash lantern there.
Flash lantern. Clutch plays, maybe. Didn't keep them in the game, though. They are 6,000 gold behind, and as I was about to mention before that replay came up, Super Hot Crew were kind of in a similar situation, but had a great team fight composition. Can Gambit reach that potential?
As long as they can just keep stalling the game here. The issue for them is that the inhibitor is open, so SK Gaming can technically take all 5 members and just push up and get it down, and that's where we need to see Gambit push out some lanes, like we're actually seeing Darren do here. So they force SK not to just group in mid lane, and just as I'm saying it, actually 3 members are staying in there.
And Alex doesn't have teleport, they're going to have to make this one count. They're not going to get it instead. Freddy gets on towards that turret, has the Dominus running, but while this is all happening, he's simply buying time for the rest of his team. 4 members pushing through towards that inhibitor. He will go down, but the Grand Skyfall lands on Genja. Genja gets popped. Solar Flare goes in. Zenith blade on Edward. Edward getting locked up here. Jesus throws the spear. He falls back to the fountain. Inhibitor goes down. SK will retreat.
SK was in a great position to just rush into this base here with 4 members. That's why once the dive onto Freddy actually happened, no problem. Grand Skyfall onto Genji. We talked about in Champs like how easy it is for Pantheon to always get onto a Varus, and that's what we see happening here. Inhibitor gone down, and SK Gaming are just looking very, very strong.
Well, Candy Panda's pushing the wave, and this top turret is, bottom inner turret is very low as well. Alex Itch already backing away from this one, not going to have any of that. He will step away, and, well, Gambit are floundering once again here. SK Gaming with a big advantage. They're now 6,000 gold ahead, but more importantly, it is that inhibitor turret down. 6-2 in turrets. Svenskon might got caught out here. Maybe he's waited a little too long. We're not going to see Alex going for it.
And now SK Gaming, Dragon coming up in 20 seconds. They need to keep the pressure going. Look at this replay here actually. On to Genja. Be caught way out of position by Candy Panda, missing another ultimate. Getting the lantern though. And then we see Grand Skyfall. Genja already low. Boom, in his face. There's nothing he can do to dodge this one. And Red actually going towards Edward, but didn't have enough damage.
Might work out for him. Jesus with those spears has got the death cap complete, along with that Athenes he had a long time ago. Void Staff almost complete as well. So those spears are really going to start hurting. And well, SK can siege the way through with the culling as well on towards those turrets. But the fact that they've already opened up a hole is going to give them a big advantage. Dragon is available, and it is SK in easily the best position to take it.
Yeah, so SK should be able to pick this one up. Look at Alex down the bottom lane. He's trying to do the same thing as before. Darien now going on to Candy Panda.
Candy Panda caught out of position completely there, and Darien just chomps his way through. Spear doesn't do a great deal, but now Freddy's involved. He will land that stun. Alex is around the side. I'm not too sure whether he's going to feel the need to collapse onto this one. Instead, he's going to play it safe. And this is bought time for Gambit to take that Dragon.
Yeah, Dragon is still up here. All the members from him are actually ready to go towards it. Alex is coming around here. And I like what Gambit is doing here with both Darien and Alex. They're just playing this combo of catch someone out of position. They don't expect us to be here because we're actually behind. We're not the ones who should be making these over-aggressive plays. And it works for them.
They're going to try and trade it. I thought they were going to go for their Baron play on the Dragon. Instead, Dragon has gone to Gambit. That keeps the gold closer than it should be because, simply put, Candy Panda got caught out. And this is the problem for SK. If they get caught with a pick, which Gambit are now going to be looking for every single time, it will put them back in the game. SK are trying to do the same thing though, but it's an obvious position.
Well, at least Gambit knows they're here, but it doesn't even matter that you know they're there because you actually want to get in and ward the Baron, and that's what SK are blocking you from doing. So it simply means there's no vision for Gambit here, and they're going towards Darien up here in the top lane. And also Alex caught out of position.
Alex out of position, he's going to get jumped on, pounce the double lock stun. The spears come through, and now he gets caught with the Zenith Blade. He gets taken down. Darien's going to be the next focus. Solar Flare comes in. He gets locked up. Chain of Corruption from Genja. They have got the tower doing damage for them, but the Culling from the side gets locked on towards Genja, and Edward's getting taken so low. Man drop comes around the side. Edward's going to be the focus along with Darien. Darien taken low. Genja gets popped as well. Candy Panda doing work here. Diamond goes down. It's a double for Candy Panda and another for Svenskeren. SK Gaming get a 4 for 1.
Beautiful coordination from SK. Mandrop coming in from Svenskeren and Candy Panda with full HP joining in from the side here, picking up the kills. And SK Gaming are just looking, they're doing so well with this because as soon as they got ahead this game, they just managed to constantly punish Gambit. They got all these turrets low, and we actually see the replay starting here. Alex being caught completely out of position. He knew the members were down here, so I'm not sure why he's staying out to farm, but it means even though he's flashing away, it doesn't even matter, and Radic catching on to him, he's dead. That's it. And from here on and out, you actually see the team fight with 4 members from Gambit. They're trying to do a good job, but Candy Panda down here at the bottom of your screen, full HP, only using the calling above, and then the Grand Skyfall from Svensson coming in. So many low members, full HP AD carry, and Svensson is just tanking up the damage, and he's joining in, taking up the kills.
When's an AD carry just to stroll around into 4 players with low hit points? It's like a gold farming session for you right there. And Candy Panda managed to clean up 7-3-4 for him. Of course, all the damage done by the rest of his team. So, Baron buff picked up by SK. Gives themselves a gigantic advantage once again. While Candy Panda was caught out once, his positioning in that fight was impeccable.
And we just have to give SK Gaming credit in this game for the ability to, even though they would lose some fights, they would always get a turret or get at least a lot of damage on a turret. So they always made sure that whenever Gambit would actually make a mistake, they could then walk up the lane, get another objective for themselves, get a turret, get a dragon, and always therefore stay ahead. And then once the team fights actually started with this mid-game combo from SK Gaming side, they were just so much stronger, and they always managed to catch on to the right people from Gambit.
The top inner turret is being pushed in by Freddy. Of course, that inhibitor has respawned and is being pushed in by the other 4 members of SK Gaming. Gambit looking to try and react, try and defend somewhere, but realizing they've left themselves very much exposed in this mid lane. Darien around the side. I'm not too sure the flanking tactics what they want here, and instead it's going to be SK putting the damage down. They do find Darien off there. Freddy putting some damage down onto Darien. Quick poke the Culling on towards him actually. Edward was also taken low. This inhibitor will drop down, but Gambit got to be careful they don't lose a member, just simply defending an exposed and hit.
Yeah, Gambit didn't actually have to do anything on this one, just let it go to SK. They need to fight under one of the turrets up here in the top lane. The first one will go down to SK, but the next one, that's the point for Gambit where they have to try and win the fight. Either they need to hope SK wants to dive onto them, or they just have to try and get a good engage, catch, like say, Candy Panda out of position with a hook from Edward and just pile onto him.
Spear onto Edward, that forces him already down to half hit points. That is the difference that Nidalee can have in this game. Hook lands on towards Enrated. Not sure they should follow that. Chain of Corruption goes down. They're going to dive in for it nonetheless. Alex gets around the side here. Jessis is taken very low. He gets popped. They're going to focus on Candy Panda. The carries are both down. Alex with a double kill. James chased away by Freddy. Freddy's got the damage to turn this bomb back around. And now Diamond's in trouble. Enrated with the Zenith Blade. Locks up on towards him. Freddy gets himself a second. Mandrop comes in. Darien gets pounced on. And it's Svenskeren with a kill. It is going to be another 4 for 2 for SK.
And the tanks from SK simply cannot die. Freddy on full HP after this fight here. Very good engage from Gambit, however. We had Alex teleporting in from behind, getting onto the carries from SK. That's why they managed to kill them so early. But still, the tanks were left alive. Nobody could actually kill them, so they just won the fight for SK Gaming.
I'd love to see the replay because I want to know why Genja did not follow through on that one. He started off with the Chain of Corruption. The teleport came back around there, and then Genja backed away. Obviously went towards the super minions, but they could have maybe done a lot better in the team fight and pushed for an objective. Let's check it out.
And notice here, Alex in the base, home guard. He's going to teleport behind SK Gaming once the engage check hits. Hugon's in red is not ideal, but they just want to start the fight. And then Alex coming down here from the bottom of your screen, straight onto Jesses and Candy Panda, combined with Darren and Diamond. Back here, Genja is actually doing a very good job just trying to defend himself and Edward. It's Svensson, however, managed to actually pick up a kill and then escape. And then Genja is just walking around.
He's in no man's land.
Not able to do anything, and then up here in the top lane, because Freddy was there, nobody could kill him. After they used all the damage onto the carries, he just picked up the kill.
Why would you chase a jungler into the jungle, ignore the other 4 players that are fighting for your team? I'm not sure on the Genja's choices there. Maybe he can explain that one better in his interviews like he tends to after the matches.
Well, I do really like the fact he's actually picking up a Guardian Angel. It's really an item he needs against a combo that can pile onto him. We have actually seen SK, at least in the last team fight, ignoring him completely. Just wanted to kill Alex, who came in from behind instead and won the team fight that way.
Well, the final inhibitor is now in this bottom lane, and you can see it's SK that clearly want to try and focus on that one. Ward's being placed out. Pink ward is there. Alex will not clear that one out because he's going to get poked to death if he gets too close to it. Genja's doing a good job. He's keeping the super minions away from this mid lane, but SK are ready and waiting to pull the trigger for a second time on towards his final turret.
Let's see if SK, if they feel confident diving in. As long as they can land the spears from Jesses, they will force Gambit to fall back a little bit. The thing we have to remember, we're 35 minutes in, there's no last whisper onto Genja. That's why he actually couldn't take down Svensson in the last fight, because he's doing no damage to the front line here, and SK knows. That's why even just one guy can tank away 2 members from Gambit.
Spears continue to go through, not really finding the targets, and nor is that death sentence actually. We do see Candy Panda taking a bit of poke. Got to be careful they don't get caught with that runic prison. The culling being used to force Edward down to half hit points. It means he might not be able to get engaged upon. Here comes the drop. It's going to go on towards Alex Inch, stepping off the side. Diamond's going to be the focus. The tower goes down already. Eddie gets taken down. Now it's going to be the solar flare on Alex Inch. Diamond's also going to get a pounced on. Darian tries to use his dragon stun to try and jump away, force them away, but SK Gaming are not being beaten back from this one. They're going to go for the inhib, and well, Gambit, they're simply just being bullied out of this one. Barrier being used for Genja. They're going to try and go back in. They do get Svensson going down, but Edward gets quickly focused, as does Genja. And SK Gaming keep on pushing through. They can finish the game right here.
And the combo from SK Gaming really paid off. Alex now.
He gets caught out. Zenith Blade comes in. Spear finishes the job. And well, would you believe it? The rematch happens, and SK Gaming take themselves victory and join Alliance and Fnatic at the top of the table. 14 wins, 10 losses.
So yesterday SK Gaming played a very weak early game combo. Today, however, Pantheon jungle, of course, onto Svensson here, Renekton up in the top lane, and then with Lucian Leona bot lane against Abaros. Very aggressive early game from SK Gaming, and it really paid off for them, because every time they had a chance to pick up a kill, they would, and then they would just go towards these turrets. They already dropped them low, get the extra goal, and just pull ahead from Gambit. And when it comes to the real team fights in the mid game, SK Gaming were just stronger.
Gambit shaking hands, take their defeat to SK Gaming, and SK now take themselves to the top of the table once again. It's a 3-way tie up there. It's getting a little bit cluttered at the top of the table right now, while everybody else tries to keep picking up victories. The bottom of the table is starting to look a little bit sparse. Fantastic performance nonetheless though. SK finally returning to winning